I'd like to call the meeting to order. May I have approval of the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. John Acom, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
Y'all please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. Let's move forward then with announcements and recognitions. Tonight with announcements, we have Mr. Mark Rand, please.
Thank you, Shannon. We would like to congratulate the 2013 Beloit Memorial High School graduates and wish them well as they begin the next chapter in their lives. School is out for the summer for the rest of our students, and we look forward to their return on September 3rd. Summer school has started and will continue through the end of July. The goal of this summer school program is to prepare students for the grades they will be entering this fall. Students will have an opportunity to explore a variety of subjects that interest them, catch up on credits, or even advance their studies in preparation for challenging coursework next year. The School District of Beloit is also hosting several sites that are serving free breakfast and lunch to the kids in this community all summer long. The locations, dates, and meal times, you can call 361-3446 or visit the website summerfoodbeloit.org. The information can also be found conveniently through the announcements on our school district website at beloitschools.net. Planning has begun already for the upcoming school year, including setting up secondary school registration dates and back-to-school events for students, families, and staff. This information, including school supply lists, the district calendar, first day of school schedule, and school day hours for this coming year are also online in the announcements section of our district website. Meanwhile, we want to remind the community that the district band and orchestra programs are in need of instruments for student use. If you have any you would like to donate, items may be brought to the Colac Education Center at 1633 Keeler Avenue. Your donation is tax deductible and would make a huge difference to a student in this community. This concludes the June announcements.
Thank you, Mark. At this point, I'd like to turn the podium over to Melissa for recognitions this evening. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I have some great recognitions tonight, as always. I'm excited to bring up two wonderful gentlemen to join me for our first recognition, and that is Art Carl and Jerry Zwiam from Aurora Pharmacy. And to help me with this recognition, we have Janelle Maratz, Executive Director of Business Services, and Marcia Schwengels, our Hackett Principal. These two wonderful guys have done a great service for the kids of the Hackett neighborhood. And here to tell you a little bit more about what they have done for our district is Janelle Maratz.
It was a great pleasure to work with Jerry and Art. They were very flexible with our construction timelines, and they were very cooperative and responsive with our interest in purchasing their property. And they were also gracious in their purchase price. So thank you.
And I want to say that kind of generosity is wonderful to see, and especially when done on behalf of kids. And because of that, they're going to have the wonderful space they need to learn and grow and be part of the Hackett neighborhood. And so this legacy is going to allow them to do that. And we're so grateful for both these gentlemen's cooperation, understanding, and generosity. So we have some certificates of appreciation for Art Carl and Jerry Zwiam in recognition of outstanding partnership with the School District of Beloit and extraordinary support of the facilities referendum. Art?
Thank you. Thanks,
I'll go first because I usually have few words. This gentleman has a lot of words. I'll start by saying I'm honored to be honored. The decision to do this for the school district of Beloit was relatively easy. But once we saw the plans for Hackett School, we realized that our property just fit in very well. And we were glad to make it available. We talked with Steve a couple of times. We talked with Janelle a few times. And we went in with the idea of trying to do something for that neighborhood. We were there for 40-plus years. We saw 2 or 3 generations of kids grow up and go to Hackett School. And, of course, they were in our drugstore often. And we thought this was one way that we could gift part of this to the school district and make Hackett a better place to go to school and for these kids on the west side. Thank you.
I guess I probably just want to kind of add to that, that Art and I had worked together for 40 years. And one of the things I like to brag about, in 40 years, we never once had words with each other. It's pretty amazing how we got along. Art ran the business in the back, and I was out in the front more, and it all just worked out. So it was a very successful business, and we got to know people in the pharmacy, not just as customers, but as friends. We would be invited to weddings, we would be invited to be pallbearers, and sometimes for folks that we weren't quite sure who they were. But there were a lot of older people who came to the pharmacy and they liked to be recognized, and we did that. And they would come to us with health questions and issues. And our logo at the pharmacy was that we take care of people. And that's really what we did, and it was very successful. And so, we loved the neighborhood. It was wonderful, and it was a lot of people over there. Those houses are close together in the blocks, and sometimes there's houses in the middle of the blocks in between. And we were there to be sometimes kind of a counselor for a lot of those people, and it was wonderful. So we had a great relationship in the neighborhood, and we wanted to give back, and that's why we were able to gift back a significant donation to the school district, and hope that this helps the bonding, and hopes that that this will help the Hackett neighborhood. It wasn't given directly to the Hackett School, but we hope that this will go towards that. And so thank you very much for the recognition. We appreciate it.
Say something? I just wanted to, on behalf of the Hackett neighborhood staff and most importantly students, thank you very much for your donation, and your legacy and logo keeps going on. You're still taking care of people even without the pharmacies being there, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Steve?
I just, on behalf of the school district and administration, thank you so much. From the very first time we met, I mean, it was, you talk about gentlemen and class acts, these guys are they handled this with such dignity and care and thoughtfulness to our district. And from their thoughts from the very beginning was, we get to give back to the school district and we get to do something special. And you just need to hear from me. I really appreciated that relationship and all the way you handled this. Thank you so much.
Well, Steve, just a quick response to that. We too had a wonderful relationship with you guys, working with you initially, and then with Art taking care of more of it after that, working with Jennifer and Michelle. We had just a great, Melissa, we had it was a great time doing it, and we appreciate, and we need the board to hear too how well it went, and we're happy with this outcome. Thanks.
On behalf of the board, I want to say thank you. Over 20 years ago, I married into a family of a pharmacy, and I have to say, it's amazing to see the individual pharmacies that were once there that are no longer there. Plover Pharmacies is the family and the business that I'm most familiar with, and it's phenomenal to see the transition here in Beloit, where it's gone from that neighborhood pharmacy to the neighborhood school. I can't say that that's the same fate for many pharmacies, but it's a blessing and it's a true godsend here in Beloit for what you've been able to do for the community and for the Hackett district. So I want to say thank you, and that commitment and that stewardship certainly is is to be honored. So thank you very much, and I'm glad to say that that area and that partnership with you will truly be honored and replicated in the years to come with our Hackett neighborhood. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon.
One thing I might clarify, I know early on it was listed as Aurora Pharmacy. Aurora Pharmacy bought us out a number of years ago, but we still owned the property, and of course were able to deal with that. It was Grand Avenue Pharmacy, all right?
And thank you for clarifying. Definitely important.
Like I say, it was really a pleasure getting to know these two gentlemen. It's obvious that they have a lot of joy for people, and you brought a lot of joy to our lives for sure. So I really appreciate that. And our next recognition, we have some schools that have won a really remarkable award here in the state. And here to help me with that is Barb Buffington, our Executive Director of Student Services.
I'd first like to call up the staff that's here from McNeil and from Gaston first. Building student character is a key component in the School District of Beloit's strategic plan and is the heart of the district's Positive Behavior Intervention Supports Program, which we call in this district PBIS. 4 schools in the district have earned merit and distinction awards from the Wisconsin PBIS network after an extensive application process that included system descriptions and data supporting positive outcomes as a result of our PBIS implementation. According to the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, PBIS is currently being implemented in approximately 47% of the state's schools. 2 schools, Gaston Elementary and McNeil Middle School, have earned the School of Merit Award. Only 146 schools in the entire state receive this PBIS School of Merit status. I know you're asking, in order to receive the School of Merit Award, the school must show the following characteristics. They had to have an extensive amount of training in PBIS, have approved trainers, measure fidelity. They have to have regular meetings, coaching and administrative leadership. They would have had to have taught students and staff school-wide expectations, actively use fidelity data to improve implementation efforts, and actively use student outcome data, focusing on the big 5 to problem solve. And those go to Gaston and McNeil.
And I get the honor of awarding these schools, Gaston and McNeil, in recognition of earning Wisconsin PBIS Network Merit Honors by creating a positive school climate through dedicated implementation of PBIS standards. Oh, Gaston?
Sure. On behalf of the staff and students at McNeil, we've worked really hard as we continue to build our team, and I just want to introduce our 2 internal coaches who really help set the example for our staff and get this going. So Eric Jubeck and Stephen Jacobson are here with us today. Thank you.
And on the behalf of Gaston Elementary, I would like to thank you for recognizing us as well. Our staff has worked hard with the change from going to a K-5 building to a K-3 building, or 4K to grade 3 building. We have actually worked really hard on changing some of the procedures to recognize all the positive things the kids are doing. And some of the examples are we're recognizing students each week for a character trait that we do each month. We do a character trait assembly with some character bugs that the kids really enjoy learning that. And we've also implemented positive behavior recognition where we'll do positive office referrals. So then I get an opportunity to call the parents and recognize all the positive things that the kids are doing as well. So thank you.
And if the staff from Merrill and Todd could please come up. 2 other schools, Merrill Elementary and Todd Elementary, have earned a School of Distinction Award. And in order to meet all of those benchmarks, they have to meet fidelity for 2 years in areas that are called the benchmarks of quality. they also had to analyze their data, actively engage families in PBIS implementation, as well as PBIS in classrooms. And all 4 of these schools will receive a banner and recognition at the 2013 PBIS Network's Summer Leadership Conference in August. I just want to add, PBIS is something that, I don't know if you remember as a board, when I brought this forward years ago, we brought this forward with very little funding to support it going on. We couldn't, so the schools have done a great job putting in the hours, rewarding kids, and thinking of things on very little funding from the district. And they have to be commended for that, because I don't do a lot. I may sign budget requests and things like that, but really the building itself, they've done a ton of work within their teams there.
So we have awards of appreciation to our 2 schools of distinction, also by creating, again, a positive school climate through dedicated implementation of PBIS standards. We have Merrill Elementary School, Katie Smallin representing Merrill, and then from Todd Elementary School, we have Mary Ellen Fuentes and Melissa Roback.
The only thing I want to say is this is truly a testament to Melody Wargo's leadership and how she has brought all of our staff together to for our students. So thank you.
On behalf of Merrill, we have just thank you. We've worked very hard as a staff to do this, and I know the Merrill Tiger wishes he could have been here too. He's taking a nap. But the staff definitely did a great job coming together with like no cost or low cost ways to positively reinforce all the great stuff our students were doing. And our the construction tours were part of that, with, like Kevin talked about, the little positive rewards. Kids could earn that and other things, and especially thankful to my internal coaches Megan Sukawati and Stacy Sarvis-Brandt, so, and the families on our committee as well. So thank you.
Steve?
I just want to thank all the administrators that are involved in that. They certainly do lead great schools, but make no mistake, it's all about our teaching staff and the common theme that goes out, and having our staff having that willingness to come together and be one team and give our kids common themes from school to school, because in Beloit we're pretty mobile. Our kids do move from school to school, and when they have those same connections, when they go from one school to the next, if it's curriculum or if it's in our behavioral plan, it makes a huge difference, so they're not starting at ground zero again. So thanks to all of the employees. We have great teachers and great staff members here in Beloit, and we don't say that enough.
John Aiken, please.
Now, PBIS is about character, it's about behavior, and I think that it's always an important message to share with the world that some of the leadership throughout the whole state in terms of character development in kids, in terms of positive behavior in kids, is here in Beloit. And that's something we can take a lot of pride in as a school system, as a community, and certainly hats off to the schools that got awards tonight. That was just, that's fantastic, and I know there'll be more awards next year. We're making great strides with PBIS, and it's been a program that is becoming just part of just the way we do things in Beloit, and that's great.
And I, too, on behalf of the board, want to say thank you. PBIS really reflects the heart and the soul of what it is that we want to emulate to our students, and I think that each and every one of you tonight reflect exactly that. Cross-categorically, all of you represent so much more than the position of which you hold for us in the district, whether it's administrator, whether it's life coach for our student, whether it's coach at our sports, whether it's marching in our parades, or simply a cheerleader for that student or that family. And that cannot be put into words. So thank you for all that you do. And to one of you specifically, and you'll know who you are, I've been requested to ask that this year, it's great that you support and you're the forerunner for our students on Ugly Sweater Day, but please make certain that Goodwill still has 1 or 2 sweaters left so that our students can engage in that fun activity with you. But again, that truly emulates exactly what it is that you're willing to go above and beyond and really relate to our students, but yet set those standards for our students. And not only set the standard, but bring them to that standard and so much more. So thank you for pushing our students. Thank you for being there for our students. And thank you for living in that moment with our students. It's truly, we owe you our respect. So thank you so much.
I just have one last thing to say, and just one thing that you notice as you watch these schools come up in the staff is the just the humility that they have, and they share credit with each other. You notice that was kind of a common thing. Well, I got to thank so-and-so, I got to thank so-and-so. They're the ones who did it, and it's really impressive, and it shows, and it's rubbing off on the students. And when I stop at Gaston and I see students giving their hard-earned tickets to donations instead of going for prizes, and Tony's Home of the Lancers, that kind of pride, I mean, you just can't beat this kind of crowd. So I'm really proud of all of you guys, and thank you.
All right, everyone, we are at the point on the agenda where it is that citizens or delegations that could speak to areas that are not noted on tonight's agenda. If there is anybody in the audience tonight, and I don't think I see anyone, but if there's anyone who'd like to speak to an area of interest that is not posted on our agenda, I would ask that you would move to the podium. Seeing none, let's move forward then to reports to the board. And the first up is superintendent's report to the board, and I believe we have construction updates. So I'll turn it over to Steve.
We're lucky enough to have Kevin Day here tonight from Corporate Contractors to give us a presentation on their relationship and their projects.
Quite know how to work this.
Tap it right on the screen. You can just double tap right on the screen.
Oh.
So if you just kind of
Yeah, I'll help.
All right, can everybody hear me? Good? Can I talk to this? Okay. My name's Kevin Day. I'm Corporate Contractors. I'm the project manager for 3 schools. We have Robinson Elementary. We have
Kevin, actually, in order for the audience at home, which I'm sure there's numerous individuals hanging on your every word, if you could stay closer to the microphone, because that's
Okay.
how they'll hear you.
if you just want to motion around and tap it.
all right, because I got to talk to the slides because I don't really remember what they were, being as a week
But
ago.
it's a smart board, so it'll
smart board.
interact with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, introductions. So the pool project, we're also doing Hackett Elementary School. So we're going to give an update. I've got about 250 photos. We'll go quickly. So we got to showcase our projects. We don't get a chance to get it out in public very much. So these are really fun jobs. They're going great, except for today. We had water coming out every hole you could possibly imagine on these job sites. So we're going to start with Robinson. So Robinson is our first project that we started on. If you want to go to the next slide. This is our new entrance. It's impressive. You can see on the inside where the compressor is. That's where we're going to enter. And then as you walk through the door, that's what it looks like. So when you look up, you've got all this fantastic glass and sunlight. It's really going to be neat. These are slides here, the outside. So up in the upper left-hand corner is the east elevation where the new entrance is. On the bottom here, we basically have got the west side, and then we've got the back of the building. So you can see the brick and the precast structure. It looks real good. We're going to move inside. So I took a couple of photos of the interior. This is the corridor that on the left-hand side is the 3rd grade classrooms. And there's a snapshot of the inside of the 3rd grade classrooms. They're ready to go, as you can see. Everybody's got their stuff set up for next school year. This is the gymnasium. Gymnasium, we've packed a lot of things in there from our move. It's actually has a lot more in it now. Got a snapshot of our kitchen there, and then we've got the cougar down in the corner that's painted on the side of the wall. So now we're in the renovation portion of the project, which is going really well. And you got to realize these photos are a week old, and in the construction business, 1 week makes a big difference. So You see in the upper left here, we've cut out the concrete in anticipation of new masonry walls going up for the new art and music room. The walls are up now. So, and this was just not even a week ago. And we're taking walls out here. We've pulled out masonry walls. We've got shoring up and new stud walls going in. What that's going to do is we're taking 3 classrooms, making them into 2 for the shared classrooms, and that's going to be pretty neat. So, next slide. Got some guys up on ladders. They look safe. Looks pretty good to me. Hard hats. Yeah, we got. But more of the classrooms coming down, just to give you an idea that Robinson is really under construction. There's a lot of demolition going on. But we like demolition. Here's the high school. This is, again, this is the new entrance, and this is on the west side. You can see the guys working there, and electricians are going, but as you can see where the ladder is, that's where the new doors are going to be. We're going to enter there. And again, you can see the clear story with the glass. So you'll look up and you'll see a lot of bright sunlight. You'll turn left, you can go right into the pool. You can walk down, heading toward the field house. You can turn left, go into the locker rooms, or you can go right into the field house. So there again, we're further along, but inside, this is our pool. And this is actually standing, I'm standing back at where the mezzanine is at, and I'm looking out into the pool. So what you see here is the deep end and the shallow end. And beyond that, excuse me, is where the locker rooms are at. You can see the windows that were pointed to the east that are going to look out. It's going to be a real great view. So I walked over. This is a snapshot here that's facing off to the west that you're looking at. You can see the mezzanine. You've got the block wall, and then you've got this flexicor. That's where the mezzanine's going to be up. It's going to have a glass rail. Seating up there. It's going to be a great viewing area. Down below, this is a snapshot just below it. This is the equipment room here. That's where we're going to have this stuff with all the pool equipment, the filters and the pumps and all that good stuff that nobody will see. And this is our locker room. So locker room, again, a week's gone by. All those walls are built, even though we've got water pouring in everywhere. But another snapshot, just 2 different views. This one, the bigger photo is looking directly to the east, and just the opposite on the upper right. And then this is the corridor. As you're looking down the corridor, you can see the bright light. That's going to look out into the river. There's going to be a big glass door there. We've got masonry underway. You can see the guys here. They're doing a fluid applied spray on insulation. It's a vapor barrier. It's pretty neat stuff. And then we've got the hydromobiles up and the brick is going. And this here, you can see the size of the windows. This is our east elevation. We're now moved around the north side, and we're starting to lay brick there. So right here you can see this is a shot from the street, 4th Street, just kind of looking in the building. We now have more brick up, but that's the insulation that's on the building. Kind of gives you a view of what the size of the building looks like. And then as you can see, we continue to pump 1 million gallons of water every day. Probably 2 million today. This is the trades classroom. This is about, I think it's about a 6,500 square foot renovation. And what this is there's going to be metals and a welding. We lost the photos. There we go. So it's metals and welding program. And we're also, right now, we're into the construction and the woods rooms, and that'll be finished by fall. So I just threw a couple photos in there for you can see. That's a really nice space if everybody gets a chance to go see that. Now we're in the Hackett. Hackett's moving along real well. This is a shot from Grand. And we have got the precast. This is the gymnasium and the kitchen looking from the street. And you can see just straight on, that wall is now closed up and it's all watertight. We're hanging ductwork and we're doing finishes. That's where we had about 30 people at today inside the building. This is inside the gym, looking out through that opening or looking to the south. And then you can look into the kitchen area. That's really where the new corridor is going to go and run into the existing building. So we're inside doing some demo. This is their current gymnasium multi-purpose room. That's going to be totally renovated. We're going to do that this summer, working on that, and we're starting to tear into the classrooms, dropping ceilings. There's not as much demolition on Hackett as there is Robinson, but there's enough. We'll be right on schedule. This is the two-story classroom addition that is going on the west side. And for Art and Jerry, I'll get with you guys later. We found some pretty interesting stuff in the basement down there. Nothing we can talk about here, but we'll see you guys afterwards. You can see that the concrete footings are going in, and then in the left is where they're doing all the underground storm. What's interesting about the west side is this is going to be a parking lot for the staff. We're going to be able to get people off the street. They're going to drop off there. It's going to be wonderful for this particular site. It's extremely tight. But that's to the north where the machines are at. The dump truck, it's on the other side. Where these guys are standing right now is where the building's going. The foundations were supposed to be finished this week, so you can see in 1 week's time we would have had the foundations done and backfilled, but those are full of water right now. Actually, we pumped them out earlier today, but they were filled right to the top. This is a view that I'm standing on the far west of the property, and I took a shot down so you could see. This is where we basically demoed the building. We filled that all up. We brought about 8 foot of fill in there, and now we're digging it back out and building a building on it. So you can see the machines working, doing the storm sewers and getting the underground utilities in. This is what it looks like from the back side, standing in the playground area. A couple other things I should probably say about the projects. I mean, just from the standpoint of corporate contractors, and we really appreciate the work. And myself, especially, I'm working in the community for the first time in my career, which is great. And, as far as the jobs go, with Robinson, I just throw a couple of quick statistics out. I talked to the guys real quick, and I wanted to let you know that the amount of jobs, these jobs, just our 3 projects are providing for the community. On Robinson, we have 9 companies, and 7 of them are local. When I say local, I mean from Beloit to Janesville. We have 30 employees, construction workers. Of those 30, all but 4 are local. So the other 4 are from Madison. Beloit, the high school, we've got 42, I counted today, even with the rain. We have 9 companies there, 7 are local. 1 from Chicago, 1 from Madison, but we have 6 that are, well, actually 34 of them are, of the 42 are local. Hackett, we have 30, and we have 8 companies on Hackett, and 7 are local. So, I mean, you can just, when I say local, I mean that these companies are in the community. So that's great. We're very thankful to the board and everybody in the community. So it's great. Like I say, our schedules are right on track. It's a fine Swiss watch right now, except again for today. So we're doing well. So I hope you like the photos. Gives you a quick, wasn't too bad there, 10 minutes, right? Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Kevin. Are there any questions from board members? I don't see any questions, but I want to say thank you. As a board, we walked through a couple weeks ago through all of our building additions, and it was phenomenal to see the progress. And it was exciting to see the progress, and we really got the board thinking about not groundbreaking, because we've been there, ribbon cutting, and how we're going to involve the community. So at this point, I'd also welcome any opportunities or ideas on how we can involve the community, because this needs to be a community celebration. Right. And what you spoke to there with the numbers of our community members that are involved in the project, I think that's paramount. And those numbers are outstanding. And that was a commitment from the board, and I think it's truly reflective. We heard last month from Mid-States Concrete that the number of employees whose students are in our district. And I think if you looked at the numbers that you gave us today, how many have students or grand students, or nephews or nieces or friends of family in the district, and it's overwhelming. And I think that truly shows in the pride of the work that they do, and the fact that we're keeping individuals in Beloit and in our community working, and that's outstanding. And I want to say thank you to the taxpayers and those that voted this referendum through, because without you, we could not be in the situation to be thanking you and the individuals that are making this happen. But it's an exciting time, and we truly appreciate it. And please go back to the job sites and tell everybody how appreciative the board and the district is, because what they're doing not only is important today, but for the future. And for so many number of students and staff, it's outstanding, and it's really overwhelming to think about it. So thank you for sharing with us
Yep.
tonight.
Thank you.
We look forward to the exciting opportunities. And the one thing I forgot to mention, gosh, I'm always forgetful on some things, is I want to say thank you to the partnerships you provided with our students. At the high school, you talked about the tech ed developments, but we have those in our architectural and our building trades. And I know that your staff and the employees, as well as on our other projects, are engaging our students in the learning opportunities there. And that can't be emulated anywhere else. So as a board, we appreciate that, and we also appreciate that continued partnership as we move forward. Because that's truly a unique opportunity that we have in our district, and that program's moving forward so tremendously is very exciting. So on all of those levels, thank you from the board and thank you from the district, and definitely keep up the great work, because it's very exciting.
I'll let everybody know. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that I turn my mic off, we're back. All right, next up we have reports to the board, and with that, let's begin with committee reports. First up, we have Finance, Transportation, and Property Committee, and tonight we have Mark Rand with those, please.
Thank you, Shannon. Finance Transportation Committee met on May 28th. We appointed a vice chairperson and a representative for TIF and Parks and Rec. We also moved forward to full board our new food service contract through Aramark. And then we met again on June 11th, and we reviewed some POs between 15 and 25 grand. We talked about paid lunch equity and some of the increases for lunch costs. We talked about therapeutic counseling contract with Crossroads Clinic. We also discussed a request for proposal for both our property casualty insurance and our benefits, and an RFP for a benefits consultant. We also discussed an RFP for our third-party administrator for our benefit claims. We talked about the need to form an insurance committee within the district, and we talked about some safety incentives within the district. We discussed health insurance costs and trends. Discussed our new CISA 2 contract, our new crossing guard contract. Janelle talked to us about some budget adjustments, and we went over the parochial school bus list. And that was it. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Mr. Rand? Seeing none, I have one. Mark, on page 18 of our packet, item 7, insurance request for proposal, the RFP for property and liability insurance. I see that it did pass committee. Motion was carried to come to the full board tonight. Yet when I look at our agenda tonight, I don't see it. Can you help explain where it went?
I believe, and maybe Janelle can help me on this one, but I believe the district, or we've decided against the need to go out for an RFP. So that's why it's not on the agenda tonight.
So can I anticipate that this will come back to committee then for removal of motion to move forward?
Yes.
Okay, outstanding. All right, any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much. Let's move forward to curriculum and instruction, and with that, John Acom, please.
Thank you. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on June 11th, and as always, we had an interesting meeting. We heard about some additional opportunities that we're pursuing for grants, and there'll be more about that later this evening. And we also had a very good discussion about truancy and how it's being handled in this district. We had Fred Atlas and Sarah McGasson Maynard came and discussed with us what they're doing. I guess I'd have to characterize it overall as increased communication, more intense communication, constant communication with both students and with parents. And the results of this are that our truancy numbers are down. And so that's a very good thing. And we continue to give this the attention that it merits because, again, if we're going to educate students, to quote somebody here, you can't educate an empty chair. I think that our truancy efforts are truly paying off, and very happy about that. We had an opportunity to talk about something new that's potentially very, very exciting. The Wisconsin legislature passed Act 156, this is quite recently, just within the last few weeks. And what this does, it allows schools to have technical proficiency high school diplomas. Now, we don't have to grant these kinds of diplomas, but we think it's a great idea. And we have asked the curriculum committee to, the curriculum department rather, to look at this and come up with some ideas. And essentially what it is, it's a high school diploma with the same requirements that any other high school diploma has. It's not in any way diluted, weakened, or changed. But in addition, a certification may be put on it of proficiency in a particular technical area. That area could be welding, it could be culinary arts, it could be any number of things, automotive mechanics, and this will certify to potential employers that this person already is competent in this particular area, a person possessing this diploma. We also see tying these diplomas into partnerships and strengthening our partnership with Blackhawk Tech. It's something that we are able to design here in Beloit to meet what we believe are the industry standards. It's an opportunity to work with our industry partners in developing what we're doing with this. There's some real opportunities here. There's a brand new thing. Discussion's just getting started. It's not something that we're going to be doing this fall. We're not that far along and can't move that quick. But it is something that we're looking at. It's something that we're going to develop, and I predict that at some point I'm going to be bringing some of this to the board for approval, and we're going to be very excited about it, and it's going to be yet another reason why the school district of Beloit will be a unique and special place for people to get an education. We also we're going to go on with our ongoing review of grading practices, and we didn't get there because we were so busy talking about the technical education thing, but we are doing this. And the review of grading practices essentially is, again, to try and get uniform grading across the district, and grading that measures learning and helps us to understand how our students are doing, and also helps us better to establish what our students need to know at any particular point in time. It's going to be aligned with the Common Core because that's the direction that we're going, and that's the direction for academic rigor. And but we're going to be in charge of how to get it aligned. So there's still quite a bit of say for local school districts in terms of how the Common Core standards get implemented. And that is the report of the Curriculum Committee. Are there any questions?
Thank you, John. Questions or comments? Seeing none, Nora, could you please fill us in on policy and personnel?
The Policy and Personnel Committee met on May 28th prior to the business meeting to approve personnel recommendations by the administration. And those recommendations included some year-end resignations and hiring, and some switching of departments. So we approved that before our business meeting last month. And then we met again on June 11th. And June 11th, we had an array of information that we talked about. First of all, we talked about our goals for the committee. As I've mentioned before, there are 890 policies that we've really worked very hard to try to update. That's one of our charges in our committee. However, after going through a year of updating, we are now trying to figure out how we can maybe speed up that process. So I have come up with a way to speed up the process by identifying priority policies to do annually, and then others to do as needed, and then others on a rotating basis. So that was part of our goals. Annually, we have to approve a resolution authorizing the board hearing officers, and they are the individuals that bring forward to the whole board expulsion hearings. And so that was approved by the committee, and it will be on it's on the agenda for the business meeting tonight. We also approved math and reading intervention is at McNeil Middle School. There were some Title I funds, and there was a need at the McNeil Middle School, so we approved the hiring of these interventionists for math and reading. Regarding policy updates and reviewing policies, the first one that we looked at and we tabled because there's a lot more to go into it was the revision of the Code of Conduct for computer misuse, and we'll be looking into that a little bit more as we move forward before the school year, I believe. We have a number of policies for first reading. Many are going to be on the agenda for tonight later, and some of those include the school-age parent program, then also some in fund development, fund balance and purchasing, as well as some policies in the 130 series and 180 series that have to do with minor revisions, and some of those include, for instance, the curriculum committee guidelines, the policy committee guidelines, and we have, probably about 10 items that we'll be talking about a little bit later on the business meeting agenda. And then finally, moving forward, this upcoming year too, we're going to be talking a little bit more about personnel issues, like, maybe personnel decisions that, or even like within the handbook. We're going to be talking a little bit more about those items. Other future agenda items might even come through our curriculum committee, as John mentioned about the tech ed degree. We probably will work hand in hand and also with the board in crafting that policy. So that's all I have for now. Any questions?
Any questions or comments for Nora? Seeing none, we are now at the point of a consent list. Is there a motion for approval of the consent list?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. And those opposed? Motion carries. We are now at the business or action items. First item on the agenda is item A, donation from Carrier Ingredients.
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded, and this is for a bench honoring Hannah Perry at Converse Elementary School. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is paid lunch equity and weighted average price calculations.
Move approval.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, therapeutic counseling contract with Crossroads Clinic.
Move approval.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? John Akam.
Yeah, I was looking this over again, and I probably didn't pay enough attention to it when we looked at it before in the special meeting, but I'm not sure I understand billing. We will be billing Crossroads for each encounter or session of therapeutic counseling for each student. So we're billing Crossroads and they're going to pay us? Is that how that works?
Welcome, Ms. Buffington.
Yes, that is what's going to happen.
That it is. Okay. So the more students we send to Crossroads for counseling, the more money we're going to get from them.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yes.
It just sounded too good to be true.
But we're not in the market of sending students
no.
to make money.
No, I
Just to
understand.
clarify.
Okay. Do the when we do this, are these do these include students who have been expelled or only students who are in school now?
The service is available for any student in the school district of Beloit.
So if we have and there's no cost to the student.
They do process insurance.
Okay. So if the student is insured, has health insurance, it might cover some of this.
Correct, but my directive is that they see all kids, regardless of insurance.
Wow. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Other questions or concerns? Seeing none, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item D, insurance RFP for benefit consultant.
Move approval.
Is there a second? Missy? Discussion? John?
As I've indicated earlier, I'm still not happy about this, so I do intend to vote against it, just FYI.
Further discussion? I guess for me, and the reason I asked the question, and I apologize to blindside you with that, Mark, because I know that typically John Winkleman provides the reiteration of the minutes. I'm a bit concerned that we removed the committee recommendation for RFP for property, but yet I'm seeing the other motions that have moved forward. And it's my understanding that we removed the one because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Janelle, but I thought the reason we removed the one was that typically the board goes out for RFP every 3 years. And knowing that we went out for RFP on benefit consultant last year, I'm wondering why this one was not removed with the same ideology that the other one was removed. Steve?
Two different situations, two different services. I think we owe it to our taxpayers to take and make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck. And right now we're, we have some things that we just are concerned about, or we wouldn't be putting this forward. So they're just two different things.
And Janelle, did you have anything to add to that? Other questions? I, like John Acom, would not be able to support this tonight. I have too many questions, and I expressed most of those during our committee meeting, so I won't rehash those this evening. But I am concerned that we remove the one and not the other. So with that being said, it's been moved and seconded, and all those in favor of moving forward with sending out an RFP for benefit consultant tonight, please signify by saying aye. And those opposed, nay. Thank you. Next item is insurance RFP for third-party administrator TPA services. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And those opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is insurance committee. Is there a motion? Discussion? John Acom, please.
Just a kind of a question. We had discussion earlier this evening about makeup of committees, and it was kind of all very specific about employees and board members and community members and administrators and providers and what have you. I don't see that in here, and I'm just assuming that it's fair to say that somebody's going to give appropriate thought to what kind of people ought to be on this committee and what the makeup of the committee ought to be and so on and so forth, because I think that's important, and I think it needs to be balanced. And probably at some point it might even be nice to have the board kind of approve what that committee makeup would look like.
Thank you, John. Is there anybody that would like to address any of those concerns? Perhaps Janelle or Todd in Steve's absence? Welcome, Janelle.
Yeah, I tried to put some of that information in the board report, but we're hoping for is a really good representation. So employee representation, board representation, somebody that's a professional in the insurance business. So we're looking for volunteers, and I can bring back a back a report to you of ideas that we have and ask you for input.
And I think last year, having been a member of it, I think we also had representatives of what were our bargaining groups, and that was really instrumental because they're the ones most impacted. So I would hope that we would have them at the table as well, just as a recommendation. So I think and correct me if I'm incorrect, but I believe that what we're approving tonight is the fact that we'll be forming, that the board is endorsing the formation of a board to look at the RFPs, but we're not, at a later date, those names of those that shall be appointed will be brought back to the board with their associations as to whether they're professional in the industry, they're a bargaining group representatives, they're a board member, for board approval at that time. Would I be correct in saying that, Janelle?
Yes.
So I think that'll answer all your concerns, John, and I do believe, based on the committee formation last year, that it was a very broad-based and representative group, as most of our committees, or hopefully all of our committees are. So appreciate the concern. I think you'll be more than happy with what Janelle will come back with. With that
I'm
being-
always happy with what Janelle comes back with.
Outstanding. With that being said, all those in favor? And those opposed? Motion carries. Next item is safety incentives.
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, CISA 2 contract. Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And those opposed? Motion carries. Crossing guard contract.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? I just want to say thank you with our partnership with the city on this. This is a jointly funded position, and I appreciate those partnerships, and it really helps to improve the safety for our students and for our public. So big shout out to our community partners with the city for partnering with us. And with that being said, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next up, budget adjustments,
Move
pages
approval.
85 to 88. It's been
Move
moved.
approval.
Is there a second? Discussion? I have a quick question on page 88, please. Thank you, Janelle. So if I'm on page 88 on 12-13 budget adjustments for May, we have a negative reflection on vehicle replacement, which is outstanding. Does that have to do with our outsourcing or not?
This actually, we had decided earlier on that we weren't going to replace the vehicles. It ties into the item above it with the boiler repair.
Okay. And then if we move down a bit, the CEO positions, can you help explain that to me?
Yeah, all these staffing adjustments you're seeing have to do with changes in positions that we
Okay.
were doing the final adjustments for. So all those staffing ones are reflecting what actually occurred
Okay,
in the
can-
budget.
And for whatever reason, I can't mentally place CEO, so I'm drawing a blank. Do you know what that outstanding? There it is. Oh, yeah, I kept going back to. Thank you. Sorry.
You pay me that, I'm out of here.
So perfect. I appreciate that because that's where I was going with that, and thank you for clarifying that. And then summer pay adjustment, is that due to summer school?
The summer pay is the summer PD.
Oh, the professional development. Outstanding. Perfect. Thank you. Is there any other questions? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next up, agenda item K, new fund development opportunities.
Move approval.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Resolution authorizing board hearing officer, board expulsion officer to determine pupil expulsion for 2013-2014 school year.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is an item that we do need to have a roll call vote because it is a resolution. And because it is a resolution, we do need the brief summation of the points because we have the policy that says we don't have to read the entire resolution, but we do need to explain exactly what it is that we're approving tonight by resolution. So the individual that made the motion, if you could please go through those highlights for us tonight. Thank you,
This is
Missy.
asking us to re-up on the hearing officer, which we have had for probably 10 years. And it just goes on to say that what some of her duties are. which I think we've been very satisfied with.
Okay, and just to clarify, this is authorizing the board hearing officer, board expulsion officer to determine pupil expulsion under Wisconsin statute 120.13, paren 1, paren E, 1-4, effective July 1, 2013 to June 30th, 2014. This is a resolution of which the board is being asked to approve this evening. It shall read, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education, the School District of Beloit, Rock County, Wisconsin, shall authorize the hearing officer to determine pupil expulsion in Wisconsin statute 120.13, paren 1, paren 3, 1-4, effective July 1, 2003 through to June 30th, 2004. With that being said, it's been properly moved and seconded. I would ask for a roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is Agenda Item M, revision of Code of Conduct violation for computer misuse, page 94-95.
Move approval.
Second.
Comments or discussion? Question that I have, and I appreciate the update since we saw this at committee. If we're looking at computer or computer system misconduct in the in the fifth line where it says unauthorized or uninvited intrusion, I guess I'm a little concerned. I completely understand the word unauthorized. Uninvited is a little unclear to me, and I'm wondering if we could define what uninvited means.
It means that there was nobody asking the student to go into that particular part of the website. Period. It's literally what it means, uninvited. The student was not invited to go in there, so they had no reason to go. Students should not be surfing around into areas that they're not to be surfing around into. And this gives us the broad definition so that we can stop some of this from happening in the future.
I appreciate that. I would ask that, and I'm definitely in favor in strengthening the wording of this code of conduct area, considering the advancement of technology. I would ask that committee look at that line, in that when we look at the areas of copying, damaging, or destroying, particularly copying, we have so many areas that our students, I don't know if it's Previ or if it's what the software we're using now, where the students are actually interacting with others. I want to make certain that the word uninvited is defined, because I think that could be a gray area, whereas unauthorized is pretty clear legally. I'm not sure about uninvited. So I would just ask that committee look at the word uninvited and how it relates to the end result and the reading of that part of the code of conduct. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have policy 342.71, school age parent program for first reading.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Again, for first reading, policy 342.71, rule 1, school age parent program guidelines for deletion.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Policy 185.2, curriculum and instruction committee for first reading.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Moving forward with policy 185.3, policy and personnel committee for first reading.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Policy 662.3, fund balance for first reading.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Policy 672, purchasing for first reading.
Move approval.
Discussion? Nora?
Gosh, I had it here earlier. I think this is the one. Okay. Thank you. In the first paragraph where it says, to supervise the purchasing of all materials, goods, services, and supplies, there is, I had it written here. Where did I put it? Anyways, I would like that information in that first paragraph to be consistent down in A and also in number 2. So it would read materials, goods, I believe I had equipment, services, and supplies. So right now it says in A, purchases of goods, services, and equipment. And down in number 2, it says supplies, materials, or equipment. So in all 3 of those areas, just to have them line up to be the very same thing. And that would be my only correction.
Thank you, Nora. Are you asking for that to be a friendly amendment
Yes,
to the motion?
I am.
So would the maker of the motion and the seconder be amenable to that language change? I see nodding heads on both. So the friendly amendment is accepted by both the motion maker and the seconder. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have policy 672.1, purchasing and bidding requirements for first reading.
Move approval.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. Next up, item U, personnel recommendations. Exhibit A, please refer to the personnel recommendations that came from Personnel Committee this evening, or those that you found as you walked into the board meeting tonight.
Move approval.
Second.
And just to clarify, those are those that are revised, that with the revision date of 6/25/2013. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion carries. We are now at the item of discussion items. Are there items of interest for consideration at future board meetings? Seeing none. We do have a lot on our agenda, so it does not reflect the fact that we don't have things that we want to talk about. I just know we have a lot in our backlog. So with that, let's announce the future board meeting dates. Next up, committee meetings shall be held on July the 8th, which will include finance, transportation, and property, curriculum and instruction, and policy and personnel. And the next meeting, business meeting, is scheduled for July 22nd, 2013. Unless there are any objections at this, it's July 9th. Thank you, John. So let's correct that to July 9th. And I'll correct it in my notes as well. July 9th, 2013 for our committee meetings, and July 22nd for business meeting. Is that still correct? You're 23rd. Oopsie. We're going to correct both. Thank you for being on top of things, John. So committee meetings shall be held on Tuesday, July the 9th, as well as our business meeting shall be held on Tuesday, July 23rd. If you chose to join us on the 22nd or the 8th, more power to you, but we'll actually be holding our meetings on the 9th and the 23rd. So, with that being said, unless there are any objections at this point, we shall be adjourned. Seeing no objections, we are adjourned. And thank you, everybody. Have a great night.